She found a forgotten ancient spaceship. Its serial number uncovers the legacy of an alien soldier. Alara drifted through the asteroid field, her small salvage ship weaving between jagged rocks like a bird dodging through branches. The vacuum of space was quiet, but her mind buzzed with possibilities. She had been scanning the sector for months, hunting for rare minerals that human mining corporations would pay handsomely for. But today, something strange flickered on her sensors. A faint energy signal, unlike anything she had seen before. Curiosity pricked at her. Most pilots would ignore weak signals, dismissing them as faulty readings or old tech debris. But Elara was not most pilots. She leaned forward in her pilot's chair, eyes scanning the holographic map projected in front of her. The signal was faint but steady. It pulsed with a rhythm almost. Alive. "I wonder what you are," she murmured. "Let's find out." She adjusted the ship's course and moved closer to the source. The asteroids grew larger, their gray surfaces scarred by ancient collisions. Then she saw it, half buried beneath the rocks, a dark shape that did not belong. Her pulse quickened. It was a spaceship. Not just any ship. This one was enormous, easily 3 times the size of her vessel. Its surface was scarred and dented, coated with layers of dust and cosmic debris. Strange geometric patterns ran along the hull, glowing faintly as if the ship itself had a heartbeat. Elara's hand trembled slightly as she activated her scanners. "This isn't human," she whispered. Every reading confirmed it. Alien materials, unknown alloys, energy signatures, decades old, maybe centuries. Somehow, it had survived the vacuum of space all this time. She pulled out a small drone and sent it closer. The drone's light swept across the hull, revealing a serial number etched deep into the metal. The symbols were precise, sharp, and glowing with a soft, eerie light. Elara's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like this. "Why is it glowing?" she asked herself, touching the console as if it might answer. Her excitement battled with caution. The ship could be dangerous. It could be a trap. But more than that, it was a mystery waiting to be solved, and Elara had always loved mysteries. She carefully maneuvered her ship alongside the alien vessel, her small grapplers attached to the hull, and she began the slow process of towing it out of the asteroid field. Every movement required precision. One wrong thrust could send her drifting into a rock and destroy both ships. Hours passed, the void of space stretching endlessly around her. Finally, she was close enough to attach the docking clamp. Her heart thumped in her chest. She was about to step inside a ship that no human had ever touched. She suited up, double-checked her oxygen and life support systems, and activated the airlock. The interior of the alien ship was dark. Her helmet lights cut through the gloom, revealing walls covered in strange markings, glowing faintly in patterns that seemed almost alive. Her boots clicked against the metal floor as she moved cautiously. The air smelled faintly metallic, almost sweet. She had expected emptiness, silence, and decay. Instead, there was a sense of presence, a whisper of history. And then, deep inside the ship, her lights fell upon it. A holographic record activated, flickering to life without warning. A figure appeared before her, a soldier in alien armor, standing tall and proud, but with eyes that carried something unexpected. Hope, sorrow, determination. The figure moved slightly, like a memory reaching out. Elara froze. Her mind raced? Who was this? Why was the record here? And why had the ship been abandoned for so long? She reached for the console, her fingers tracing over unfamiliar symbols. Somehow, the hologram responded to her touch. More images appeared. Battles, strange worlds, moments of quiet reflection. She realized this was more than a ship. It was a record, a story preserved in metal and light. Her heart beat faster. This could change everything," she whispered. She began to record the holographic data, sending streams of information to her ship's computer. The AI tried to help, deciphering patterns and symbols, but many of them were beyond human understanding. Still, she worked tirelessly, driven by a mix of fear and excitement. Hours turned into days as she explored the ship. She found empty quarters, storage rooms filled with supplies she could barely identify, and weapons of a design unlike any human craft. And everywhere, the serial number glowed faintly, as if urging her to understand it. One night, while resting in her own ship, she stared at the hologram replaying in the main chamber. The soldier's eyes seemed to follow her, filled with stories that had been lost for centuries. She felt a strange connection, as if the soldier's purpose had been waiting for someone to find it. Elara thought about humanity. Her people were young in the galaxy, scrambling for survival, struggling to carve their place among the stars. Yet here was a being, long gone, whose courage and wisdom could inspire a new generation. She knew then that her discovery was bigger than treasure or fame. This ship, this soldier, could teach humanity lessons no academy or mission ever could. But as she pondered this, a warning blinked on her console. A faint signal, barely detectable, flickered from beyond the asteroid field. Someone, or something, was watching. Her excitement shifted into caution. She had no idea who or what might come for this ship, for its secrets. The hologram's faint glow seemed to pulse faster, almost in rhythm with her own racing heart. Elara tightened her grip on the console. She had found something incredible, but the galaxy would not let such a discovery remain hidden. Not for long. She made a decision. She would unlock the ship's secrets, learn the story of the soldier, and protect it, whatever it took. And so as the twin suns of a distant system began to rise over the asteroid field, Elara prepared for a journey she could never have imagined. A journey that would take her into the heart of forgotten wars, ancient legacies, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. She looked once more at the glowing serial number. It was not just a set of symbols. It was a key to the past, and maybe the future. Elara smiled. The adventure had only just begun. Elara sat in the cockpit of her salvage ship, staring at the glowing serial number etched into the alien hull. Her fingers hovered over the console, tracing its strange patterns again and again. The symbols were unlike any language she had encountered, yet they seemed deliberate, precise, almost personal. It was as if someone had left a message waiting for her to find. Her AI assistant Luma chirped softly. Analysis indicates the material is older than anything in human records. Probability suggests the ship belonged to a military fleet lost centuries ago. Elara exhaled slowly. Military? Luma, I think it's more than that. Look at the hologram. This soldier, he feels alive, in a way. The holographic figure flickered again, projecting itself into the main chamber. Elara watched fascinated. The soldier was tall and armored, with markings along the chest plate that shimmered faintly. He carried himself with discipline, but there was something deeper, an unspoken story in his eyes, a weight she could almost feel. She connected her ship's systems to the alien vessel, letting the AI scan and begin decrypting the data. Symbols flowed across the screen, twisting and reshaping as Luma tried to interpret them. Some were technical, showing schematics of engines, weapons, and energy conduits. Others were personal, logs, memories, and fragments of conversations. Elara leaned closer. These aren't just military records. These are a life, a legacy. Hours turned into days as she worked tirelessly. The AI made progress, revealing patterns and sequences embedded in the ship's core. The serial number, she realized, was not just an identification. It was a key. Each set of symbols unlocked layers of memory, history, and instructions left by the alien soldier himself. One evening, she managed to activate a larger portion of the holographic logs. The ship trembled slightly as ancient circuits awakened, and a soft melodic hum filled the chamber. The soldier appeared again, this time in the middle of a battlefield. She saw flashes of alien worlds, massive spaceships and armies clashing in silence across the void. The soldier moved with precision, leading small squads through impossible odds. Yet what caught her attention most were the moments between battles. She saw the soldier repairing ships, comforting injured allies, and sending messages of hope to civilizations threatened by war. This was not a warrior driven by conquest. It was someone who fought for peace, honor, and duty. Elara's heart raced. Humanity had known courage, yes, but this soldier embodied a level of discipline and morality that humans were only beginning to develop. And yet, there was a haunting sadness. The logs hinted at betrayal. Allies had turned against him, labeling him a threat, leaving him to face the horrors of war alone. Her mind raced. If this soldier is like us, if he's like humanity, then maybe we can learn from him. The next day, she decided to dive deeper into the ship's systems. She activated what she called the Central Archive, a massive data core buried deep within the alien vessel. Streams of light projected images and text, filling her cockpit with information. Every detail told a story of the soldier's mission, victories, and losses. Some of the logs described strategic battles with technology far advanced beyond humanity's current capabilities. Others were simple personal entries, describing friendships, regrets, and a desire to protect life. Elara felt a strange kinship with him. Here was someone who had faced impossible odds yet had chosen to act with courage and compassion, values she recognized as human at their best. Days passed, and Elara's work began attracting attention. A subtle energy disturbance pulsed through the asteroid field, faint but growing. Her sensors picked up small signatures, ships, probes. Something was moving, observing her. "Luma, increase scanning sensitivity." "I don't want to be surprised," she said, a shiver running down her spine. The AI complied, analyzing the area for anomalies. Unidentified signal detected. Source appears alien in origin. Probability of hostility is high. Elara's fingers tightened around the console. So we're not alone. That explains why the ship was abandoned. Even as she felt unease, she refused to stop. The soldier's legacy was too important, too inspiring. She had to continue decoding the information, even if it put her in danger. She activated another log. This one showed the soldier walking through a devastated city on a foreign world. Buildings were shattered, smoke rising in thin clouds. He knelt by a group of survivors, tending to their wounds and comforting them. Elara felt a lump in her throat. Despite the destruction, the soldier's action spoke of hope, of resilience. This is what humans can be, she whispered. Even in the darkest times, we can choose to protect, to endure, to inspire. The following days were a mix of breakthroughs and tension. Elara learned how to operate portions of the alien ship, discovering propulsion systems, energy shields, and even weaponry that had been inactive for centuries. She marveled at the technology, but she also realized that the greatest treasure was not the tools themselves, but the mind behind them. She found schematics for battle tactics that were surprisingly intuitive. The soldier had anticipated every possible scenario, yet left room for improvisation, something humans excelled at. Elara began experimenting with small simulations, testing strategies and learning from the soldier's approach. Then, a breakthrough, the serial number. She had been working tirelessly to decipher it, and finally, a pattern emerged. The number was not just identification, it was a map. Each symbol corresponded to a star system, and when aligned correctly, it revealed coordinates to locations in the galaxy that had been forgotten for centuries. Elara's eyes widened. This is huge. These aren't just logs. These are markers, a guide to the soldier's missions, maybe even his legacy. She began plotting the coordinates on her ship's map. Each point represented a world the soldier had influenced, civilizations he had protected, and battles he had fought. It was as if he had left a trail, not of destruction, but of hope and guidance for those who might come after. But as she delved deeper, the feeling of being watched intensified. The faint signals outside grew stronger, more structured. Someone, or something, was monitoring her progress. One night while studying the holograms, her ship's alarms blared. "Warning, incoming vessel detected," Luma announced. Elara's pulse raced. The ship's AI identified the intruder as an unknown alien faction, advanced and dangerous. She realized immediately, They had found her because of the soldier ship. They wanted the technology, the legacy, or perhaps to erase it entirely. Alara gritted her teeth.
Not today. Not this ship.
Not his legacy. She activated defensive systems she had been testing, creating energy shields and preparing countermeasures. Though outnumbered and outgunned, she had one advantage: human ingenuity. She combined alien technology with her own ship systems, improvising in ways the intruders could not predict. For hours she stayed alert, scanning and preparing, knowing that the next encounter could come at any moment. The holographic soldier remained beside her, a silent witness, his presence reminding her of the courage she needed. Alara realized something profound. This was not just a mission for treasure or knowledge. It was a test of human resilience, morality, and resourcefulness. The soldier's legacy had chosen her as its guardian, and she could not fail. She returned to the Central Archive one last time that night. The logs showed a final message from the soldier, fragmented but clear in meaning. Protect the knowledge. Use it wisely. Let hope survive where I could not.
Alara pressed her hand to the console. I will.
I promise. As she drifted into a brief rest, she stared at the glowing serial number.
Each pulse of light seemed like a heartbeat, syncing with her own. The galaxy was vast and full of danger, but she felt a sense of purpose she had never known before. She was no longer just a salvage pilot. She was a guardian, a student of a long-lost soldier, and perhaps a guide for humanity's future. The asteroid field around her remained silent, but she knew the danger was still out there. Whoever, or whatever, had been monitoring the alien ship would not leave her alone for long. Yet for the first time, she felt ready. Ready to face the unknown. Ready to uncover the soldier's full legacy, and somewhere deep in the ship, hidden beyond layers of ancient code, lay secrets she had not yet discovered. Secrets that could change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Alara exhaled and whispered, "Let's find out who you really were, and what you wanted us to become." Alara's ship hummed with quiet energy as she studied the serial numbers map again. The coordinates glowed softly, revealing hidden outposts scattered across the galaxy. She could almost see the soldier walking among them, protecting civilizations long forgotten. But the calm was deceptive. Her sensors beeped suddenly, sharp and insistent. Luma's voice broke through the quiet hum of her ship. Warning. Multiple unidentified vessels approaching. Trajectory indicates interception. Alara froze for a moment, then clenched her jaw. "Show me." The main screen lit up with shapes, sleek, dark ships, moving with precision, almost predatory. Their designs were alien, unlike any human fleet, yet efficient, lethal. She counted at least 6, maybe more. The intruders had tracked her. They knew she had found the ancient ship. "They're coming for the soldier's ship," she whispered. Her fingers danced across the controls. "We're not giving it up." For a moment she considered fleeing, but she knew the alien faction would follow her anywhere, and she couldn't risk losing the legacy she had uncovered. No, this was her mission, her fight. Humanity might be young, but humans never gave up when the odds were against them. Alara activated the alien ship's defensive systems. Energy shields roared to life, shimmering across the hull, while automated turrets rotated into position. She wasn't fully sure how the ancient systems worked yet, but she had enough knowledge to make them functional. Improvisation had always been her strength. The first alien ship fired, a beam of deep blue energy sliced through space, striking her shields with a resonant hum. The force made her chest tighten in her suit, but the shields held. She fired back with a pulse weapon salvaged from the alien ship, sending arcs of energy toward the approaching vessel. The human's small modifications made the weapon unpredictable, causing the enemy to veer off course. "Nice," she muttered. "Let's see how they handle this." The enemy fleet adjusted quickly. Ships darted in patterns she had never seen, firing beams and missiles that forced her to dodge, weave, and counterattack simultaneously. But Alara's mind worked like a machine. She studied their movements, anticipating their strategies. Human ingenuity combined with alien technology gave her an edge. She maneuvered closer to the central asteroid cluster. "If I can draw them into the field, I might have a chance," she muttered. The asteroids were massive, moving slowly but with deadly potential. One miscalculation could destroy everyone. But the alien fleet was confident, aggressive, assuming they could outgun her. As she led them into the cluster, she activated a decoy system, projecting holographic duplicates of her ship. The enemy fired at illusions, wasting precious energy. Alara darted through gaps between asteroids, the glowing alien ship trailing her like a silent guardian. She felt a strange kinship with it, as if the soldier himself was guiding her through the chaos. Luma's voice was urgent. "Missiles incoming!" Evasive maneuvers recommended. Alara twisted the controls. Missiles streaked past, detonating against the rocks. One hit a large boulder, sending fragments flying in every direction. She grinned behind her helmet. "Not bad for a human, huh?" The battle raged for hours. Alara grew tired, sweat dampening her suit, yet her focus never wavered. Every move she made drew inspiration from the soldier's holograms she had studied. His tactics, his patience, his moral choice to minimize unnecessary destruction. She mirrored them instinctively. At one point, a larger enemy ship broke off from the formation, trying to flank her. Alara anticipated this. She activated an ancient alien device she had discovered in the ship's hold, a pulse generator that temporarily disrupted energy fields. The effect was instantaneous. The enemy's weapons powered down, leaving them momentarily vulnerable. She fired carefully, targeting critical systems, and the ship drifted helplessly into the asteroid belt. The other enemies hesitated, unsure what had happened. Alara's chest heaved. She was exhausted, but she was winning. The humans' ability to improvise had turned the tide. The alien faction had technology and numbers, yes, but they lacked the unpredictable creativity that humans could bring. That was the edge she had, and she would not let it go. Yet the danger was not over. One of the alien ships began transmitting a signal directly to her. Luma intercepted it. Message detected. Translation: surrender the vessel or be destroyed. Alara shook her head. No, not today. Not ever. She realized then that brute force alone would not win this fight. She needed strategy, cunning, and deception. She engaged the ship's propulsion system, preparing for a high-speed maneuver through the narrowest part of the asteroid cluster, a path almost too small for even her ship to pass through. The enemy followed, confident in their pursuit. They did not expect humans to risk impossible odds. Alara held her breath as she navigated the twisting, jagged terrain, dodging massive asteroids while keeping the alien ship in tow. One wrong move could crush them all. The enemy fired relentlessly, but she used the terrain to her advantage. Asteroids blocked beams, forced ships to collide, and caused chaos in their formation. Human creativity and audacity had turned a hopeless fight into a tactical advantage. Finally, she reached the narrowest gap. She pushed the engines to their limits, feeling the ship groan under the stress. The alien vessels tried to follow but were too large, too rigid. One by one they crashed against rocks, forced to retreat or be destroyed. Alara exhaled, her hands shaking with adrenaline. She had survived. Against impossible odds, humans had prevailed. But even as relief washed over her, she knew this was only the beginning. The alien faction would not give up. They would regroup, plan, and return. And now, they had seen the potential of a human pilot wielding ancient alien technology. That knowledge alone made her a target. She returned to the central chamber of the alien ship, watching the holographic soldier flicker in the soft light. The battles she had just fought mirrored those recorded in his logs centuries ago. She realized that in many ways, she had been guided by his memory, his tactics, and his wisdom. "He left this for someone like me," she whispered. "Someone who can carry on and survive." Alara knew she had unlocked only a fraction of the ship's secrets. The serial number, the hidden archives, the map of ancient outposts, they all pointed to something greater. She could feel it in her bones. The soldier's legacy was vast, and the galaxy had much to learn from it. She began plotting the next coordinates from the serial number map. Each new system represented a lost piece of history, civilizations that the soldier had influenced, and technologies that could reshape human understanding. Yet the danger remained. The alien faction had witnessed her skill, her ingenuity, and the ship's power. They would return more prepared, more ruthless. Elara knew she had to be ready, not just to defend herself, but to protect the legacy she had uncovered. For the first time, she felt a deep sense of purpose. She was no longer a lone salvage pilot drifting through the void. She was a guardian of history, a student of a forgotten warrior, and perhaps a teacher for humanity's future. The stars outside the asteroid field stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to her triumph and the challenges ahead. Somewhere out there, the alien faction plotted their next move. But Elara did not fear them. She had something they did not: human courage, creativity, and determination. And with a soldier's guidance etched in the ship's logs, she knew she could face whatever came next. Elara smiled, a spark of excitement in her eyes. The galaxy was dangerous, full of enemies and unknowns, but it was also full of opportunity. And she was ready to seize it. The holographic soldier flickered once more, his eyes seeming to meet hers directly. A silent message, clear and unwavering. "Carry the legacy forward. Humanity is ready." Elara's heart swelled. She had survived, she had fought, and she had learned. But the journey was far from over. The alien ship held more secrets, more knowledge, and more challenges that would test her skill, her courage, and her humanity. She powered up the engines, setting course for the first coordinates revealed by the serial number. The adventure was far from over, and she would meet it head-on. The battle had proven one thing. Humans might be young in the galaxy, but when faced with impossible odds, ingenuity and courage could turn the tide. And humanity would rise. Elara's ship hummed steadily as she followed the coordinates revealed by the alien ship's serial number. Each jump brought her closer to a hidden sector of the galaxy, a place that had been untouched for centuries. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was the culmination of everything she had discovered: the soldier's ship, the holograms, the maps, the battles. Soon she would uncover the greatest secrets of all. The asteroid field cleared, revealing a massive glowing structure orbiting a small blue-green planet. The structure was enormous, shaped like a ring, with panels that pulsed softly with energy. It was an alien outpost, abandoned but intact, protected by ancient defenses that still hummed with life. Elara's heart raced. She had studied dozens of alien ruins in her life, but nothing compared to this. This was a legacy, preserved for someone who could understand it. She prepared the ship for landing, carefully navigating the protective shields surrounding the outpost. Once docked, she entered the facility. The air smelled faintly metallic, yet clean. The walls were lined with symbols she recognized from the soldier's ship, glowing faintly in the dim light. It was a library, a command center, and a monument all in one. Holographic consoles flickered to life as she approached, displaying records, maps, and logs that had not been touched for centuries. Luma buzzed softly. "Analysis indicates these systems contain advanced technology and historical records of multiple civilizations. Probability of discovery altering human understanding extremely high." Elara smiled behind her helmet. "Exactly why I'm here." She walked carefully, scanning the consoles. Most of the information was technical, detailing energy systems, starship construction, and defensive technologies. But there were also logs, personal entries from the soldier himself. He spoke not only of battles but of philosophy, compassion, and strategy. He had fought wars, yes, but always with the goal of protecting life and preserving knowledge. One hologram activated on its own, showing the soldier kneeling in front of a council of alien civilizations. He spoke passionately, arguing for peace, for cooperation, for the protection of smaller worlds. His voice, though alien in tone, carried a universal message: strength must be used with responsibility. Elara's chest tightened. This soldier, who had fought centuries ago, was a mirror of the ideals humanity aspired to. Courage, morality, resilience. They were not just human traits. They were universal. As she explored further, she found a central chamber hidden behind a massive sliding door. Symbols on the door glowed as if recognizing her presence. She touched the console, and the door slowly opened with a soft hiss. Inside was a chamber unlike anything she had seen. At its center floated a device pulsing with light. It was small, yet immense in potential. The console indicated it contained knowledge, technology, and data from the soldier's entire fleet, a complete archive of his missions, strategies, and inventions. This was the culmination of his life's work. Elara approached cautiously. She felt the weight of history pressing on her shoulders. This is it, she whispered. This is everything. She activated the device and the hologram sprang to life. Systems, star maps, alien designs, and records of countless civilizations unfolded around her. She realized that the soldier had not just fought battles. He had created a legacy, a network of knowledge meant to guide future generations. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the outpost. Luma's voice rang urgent. Warning, alien fleet detected. They are closing in on your position. Probability of confrontation high. Elara froze. She had thought the battle was over, but the enemy had tracked her here. They wanted the device, the technology, the legacy itself. She took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the chamber beneath her hands. This was more than a fight for survival. It was a fight to preserve history. She activated the outpost's defenses. Energy shields enveloped the station. Automated drones moved into position and turrets powered up. The alien fleet arrived moments later, sleek ships cutting through the void, weapons ready to strike. But Elara was not afraid. She had the soldier's logs, his strategies, his wisdom. She had studied, adapted, and learned. Humans might be young, but their ingenuity was unmatched. She maneuvered her ship and the outpost systems in perfect sync, using feints, traps, and improvisation. Beams fired, shields flared, and explosions rocked the void. The enemy assumed they could overpower her, but she had anticipated their moves. She used the asteroid field nearby to create obstacles, forcing their ships to break formation. She redirected the outpost's energy cannons, striking vulnerable points with precision. One by one, the alien ships faltered. Some retreated, some were forced into collisions, and one massive vessel was immobilized by an energy trap she improvised. Her heart pounded, adrenaline surging through her veins. The battle was intense, but she was winning. Not because of raw power, but because of human creativity guided by centuries of alien wisdom. After what felt like hours, the fleet retreated, leaving Elara alone with the glowing outpost and the soldier's legacy. She exhaled, trembling with relief and exhilaration. She had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. She returned to the central chamber. The holograms flickered softly, as if acknowledging her triumph. The device pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat, signaling readiness to share its knowledge. Elara began downloading the data into her ship's storage and transmitting copies to human scientific archives. Humanity had long relied on its own ingenuity, but this knowledge could accelerate their growth, teach them new ways to explore, defend, and protect. It was not just technology, it was wisdom, a bridge between species and eras. Hours later, she stood in the chamber looking at the holographic soldier. His eyes seemed alive, reflecting pride and trust. She realized something profound. This legacy was not just for humans to use, it was a test, a gift, and a responsibility. Elara whispered, "I understand. I will protect it. I will honor it." The outpost, silent now, seemed to respond. Lights pulsed warmly, corridors glowing as if welcoming her decision. She felt a sense of peace she had never known. She was no longer just a salvage pilot or a discoverer of ancient ships. She was a guardian, a protector, and a student of a soldier who had lived centuries before. She thought about humanity, young, fragile, but capable of great courage. She realized that humans could carry this legacy forward. They could explore, protect, and inspire across the galaxy. And if they did it wisely, they could honor the memory of heroes. like the soldiers she had discovered. Alara prepared her ship for departure, taking one last look at the outpost. She had unlocked its secrets, defended it from those who would abuse it, and transmitted its knowledge to humanity. She felt a deep sense of accomplishment. As she set course for home, the glowing serial number on the alien ship pulsed softly, like a heartbeat, a reminder that the journey was not over. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders waiting to be discovered, and she would face them, carrying the soldier's legacy and humanity's potential with her. In the silence of space, she allowed herself a small smile. She had discovered something greater than herself, a connection between past and future, between species, between courage and responsibility. She had proven that humanity, though young, could rise to challenges, protect knowledge, and honor the ideals of those who came before. And somewhere deep in the stars, the soldier's legacy lived on, not just as technology or memory, but as a guiding force for all who dared to explore, to fight for what is right, and to believe that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, hope could survive. Alara whispered, almost to herself, almost to the soldier, "Your legacy is safe, and we will make it matter." The ship powered up, engines humming. As she jumped into hyperspace, ahead lay unknown worlds, new challenges, and the bright future of humanity. The past had guided her. The present had tested her. And the future, oh, the future, was now hers to shape. The stars stretched endlessly before her, each one a promise, each one a story waiting to be written. And Alara knew, with certainty, that humanity would rise to meet it. Brave, inventive, and unstoppable.